Studio 67 in Florida's capital county, it's time to get fact-checked.
Access granted.
What is up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Fact Check. You have got Jared, Courtney, and Amir this week. Y'all say what's up.
Hey, everyone.
How we doing, y'all?
We are in week 6 of session. By my calculations, we've got 21 days on that Sunny Die countdown clock left. And
drop the hanky.
Is moving along, so we might actually hit that deadline this year. So we'll be looking forward to that. It was Valentine's week. Love is in the air, but one thing we're not feeling the love on is the term limits bill. Courtney, what are we hearing over there?
Yeah, term limits. It's still moving in the House. This week, Rep. Salzman presented her bill in the House State Affairs Committee. It did pass 13-7. It did have one major amendment. It went back to 8 years. So in the House, we're back at 8 years, and it is fully in line with the Senate bill.
And once again, we had a number of our commissioners come out and, voice their opposition to this bill. So thank you to everyone who did their part. I know that actually means something within the legislature when they come and see their delegation members speaking against this stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Moving right along, Amir, talk to us a little bit about a new bill. Not new, but one that I don't believe we've spoken on the podcast just yet. It's a tangible personal property exemption.
Yeah, no. So on Tuesday, Rep. McClain presented WMC 6 and WMC 7, which will, going forward, be referred to as HB 7075, and HB 7077 acts as its implementing bill, and 7075 is going to be a tangible personal property tax exemption from $25,000 to $50,000.
So it's doubling that current amount, right?
It's doubling it. The Revenue Estimating Conference has not estimated the potential revenue impact of this joint resolution, but staff estimates that the negative reoccurring impact on local government revenues would be approximately $100 million beginning in fiscal year 2025 to 26.
And to clarify, by staff, we are referring to the Ways and Means Committee staff. So obviously $100 million, that is a bit of a price tag on this bill for local governments.
And these bills do not have any Senate companions or committee references yet, but this information will soon come out as the weeks progress, I assume.
Shifting gears, we are seeing Ag Commissioner Wilton Simpson pushing his Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services package. Pretty comprehensive bill, a lot of moving parts here. Jeff Scala refers to this as a bill about things because, this is just a massive umbrella hitting everything from meat created in a lab to nonprofit addresses to the one big one we're going to talk about. There is a preemption in this DAX package dealing with electric vehicle charging stations. It's preempting the regulation of EV charging stations to the state, and the problem we're really seeing with this is we don't know what we don't know. I mean, we don't know how the state is going to operate in this space going forward. They might do nothing. They might, impose new regulations. We just don't know. And so I think uncertainty is potentially not great for the EV market going forward. And given that this is a preemption of local regulation and our home rule authority, this is one that we'll have to keep an eye on going forward. Kicking it back over to Courtney. Courtney, I hear we're actually trending in the right direction on sovereign immunity. What is going on there?
By right direction, if you mean failed in a committee. Yes.
Gotta love it.
House Bill 569 by Rep. McFarland was supposed to be heard in the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday morning, and it actually got tabled. The chair pulled it off the calendar altogether. So as far as the House goes, we shouldn't see this bill again.
That's good to hear, Courtney. This is one that obviously circles back every year. The trial lawyers, have their hands in this, as well as a number of other things. We're part of a coalition with, the state university system, and a handful of public hospitals, schools, that sort of thing, and other local governments. And so we've been kind of digging our heels in, and so far it looks like, the resistance is working. So
yes, that's what we like to see.
It's nice to get a win here. Amir, kicking it back over to you for yet another tax provision. This time it's going to be the annual tax package. What's going on with that? What are we seeing?
Yeah, this bill includes a couple provisions, and it was sponsored by the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Representative McClain, who was previously a county commissioner. The bill proposes various tax holidays on back-to-school shopping, disaster preparedness supplies, and recreational items. It also temporarily reduces the business rent tax rate and allows leasing companies to pay tax upfront on vehicle purchases. The prescribed tax-related holidays and measures look to have a local government fiscal impact of $132.8 million in fiscal year 24-25, and then another reoccurring expense of $4.4 million to counties in the following years. And if you go over to our legible for this week, you'll be able to see a chart that isolates some of the individual tax holiday fiscal impacts to local governments as well.
Thanks, Amir. Well said. I'm going to take this next one myself, and it's one we've seen before. It's House Bill 433 by Representative Esposito, and it passed the State Affairs Committee 14-6 this week. So there was a little bit of resistance, and there were some good questions being asked. This is a three-headed preemption right here. The first section deals with the preemption of local preferences within their contracting and their procurement procedures. So we could not require a potential vendor or reward a potential vendor for meeting a certain prevailing wage, benefit threshold, that sort of thing. The second section, potentially even worse, preempts the terms and conditions of employment to the state. This is, just mystery meat. I mean, this could be everything, and FAC staff actually interprets this to apply to internal county employees as well as our potential regulation of private businesses. And so the problem we're seeing here is, if we want to send an expecting mother home for maternity leave, we would have to call DMS and make sure that that's all above board, that sort of thing.
Let me know how long you wait on hold to get through for that phone call.
Exactly. Yeah. This thing is this is a bad bill right here. And then the third section deals with regulation of heat exposure requirements, whether that's certain amounts of shade, water breaks, that sort of thing. Counties would not be able to regulate that going forward. The Senate bill has actually taken out the first two sections, and so it's just a one-pronged preemption right now, just that heat exposure requirements. And so we're hoping to match up the House language to that Senate language, which is looking a little cleaner as it stands right now. And with that being said, I will pivot back over to Courtney to talk another Representative Esposito bill, HB 267, dealing with building permits.
Thanks, Jared. And to keep your building permit bills separate here, Esposito's bill deals with single-family units, so just a regular house, townhouses, duplexes, apartment buildings, 50 units or under, and those commercial buildings, 25,000 square feet or under. This bill did pass in the House Commerce Committee this week. It did add 3 amendments, which we were very interested to see. The first one takes the local government's ability to have a fee owner sign a waiver to allow the timelines that she has set forth in this bill be surpassed due to concurrency review.
Well, what that's going to do? Local governments are just going to start denying permits if they
Absolutely.
can't meet that timeline.
The timelines in here are not only crazy, but it's now saying, if you have a pool drawing built up to add on to your single family house, when you pull those permits, the Department of Health is the one that approves that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stakeholders here,
right? So
that need their input.
You're pulling in other departments, and this amendment takes away the local government's ability to not only educate the fee owner about that, but say you have to go get those done before you can even come to me at this point. It also added in some language about elevator standards and that you must have a handrail, and it also added in internship programs for building code inspectors and plan examiners. The second amendment added a thermal efficiency standard for unvented attics and enclosed rafter assemblies regarding air handlers, and the last amendment added the language, except as otherwise provided, this act shall take effect on January 1st, 2025, there at the end of the bill. So we're going to see where this one lands.
Yeah, everyone wants a piece of this. Big refrigerators involved now.
Right. More stakeholders have come to the table somehow, but FAC did stand up and testify on this one, and we do oppose this language altogether.
And just to clarify, the Senate bill is a little cleaner at this point. Those timelines are looking a little more realistic, and it doesn't have that problematic deemed approved language that we're seeing in the House bill, whereby a local government that doesn't meet the timelines in the bill, an application for a building permit would be automatically deemed approved the day after it goes over that timeline. And so that's a public safety nightmare, and we're hoping to see the Senate version get some traction going forward. Amir, shifting over to you again, one last tax bill for us. What do you got?
Senator Gruder's SB 866 valuation of timeshare units was heard in the Senate Finance and Tax Committee on Tuesday. It did pass favorably 4-2, and this bill seeks to revise the methodology for valuing timeshare units for the purpose of ad valorem taxation. Take a step back and looking at how property appraisers evaluate ad valorem property tax for timeshare units, there's two prevailing ideologies that present themselves here. It's whether to use either A, the resale market price, or B, the original price value. And the main problem that we see with using the resale market price is that oftentimes these timeshare contracts, they loop the timeshare owner into rigid contract agreements, oftentimes resulting in these owners having to make distress sales, which brings the resale price of the value down to 40 to 75% lower than its original market value. This bill does have a House companion bill in the form of HB 471 by Representative Fine, which has been placed on special order. And to note, SB 886, this bill sides with the owners because it defers to the property owner of the timeshare to see if they want to use the resale market value instead.
Well, and obviously, that's going to create a pretty big gap between the original purchase price and, that resale market, as we said. We're seeing distressed sales a lot in this market, at least anecdotally, 40 to 75% below that original purchase price, just because, they get into these contracts that they, can't get out of very easily, and they have to, just take a loss on this one and sell it for a fraction of the original price.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the property appraiser is just looking to, create enough property tax ad valorem to provide essential local services. But with the revised methodology presented in SB 886, this would result in a $171 million local impact for fiscal year 24 and 25.
Not a small price tag on that one, Amir. Appreciate it. And wrapping up, we got some good news. We have got the House PACE bill trending in the right direction. Jeff Scala said he had the juice on this one, and it looks like he might just deliver. House Bill 927 by Rep. Trabulsi passed the House Ways and Means Committee 19-2. That was a second committee stop, so it should have one more. The Senate version, SB 770 by Senator Martin, has already passed off the Senate floor, so they are just waiting on the House to catch up at this point. These two bills, after the latest round of amendment language, are actually identical now, and both contain the fix that FAC has been looking for that would preserve our home rule authority to regulate PACE administrators. So there was that controversial bond validation hearing a couple years back that emboldened certain players within this space to go statewide without any oversight. We would like to see these PACE administrators get the local approval, just to make sure that that PACE program is approved within that community. This bill gives counties back that power to authorize PACE programs in their community by ordinance, and so this is one that FAC is comfortable supporting once again going forward. And with that being said, I think that does it for policy for the week. Guys, any housekeeping?
Week 7.
Week 7 coming up.
Find us on the floor shortly.
I'm gonna start reading Davin's favorite "Man in the Arena" quote from Teddy Roosevelt, but maybe we'll get to that next week because we are in the arena. Let me tell you. But with that being said, we are gonna go ahead and wrap things up for this week. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. As always, if you have any questions or want additional detail on these bills, please check out our legislative bulletin that goes out every week, as well as our bill tracker up on the FAC website. It's got all the bills we talked about today and more, so please check that out.
Thanks, everyone.
With that being said, we will be signing off.
Enjoy the weekend, y'all. Thanks.